Hi guys, welcome to my Flosstube. It's been ages and ages and ages, over 2 weeks since I last did a Flosstube, and the sun's gone in. I did think the light was really good today. I haven't got my light on. Right, hang on. That's probably better. There we go. It was really light in here until right then. I'm Emily. I'm Crafty Emily here on Flosstube. When I finally do a video. It's been, as I say, it's been a couple of weeks. I have been stitching. I've also been very, very busy. I've also had 2 of my kids down with COVID. Lizzie got COVID about 2.5 weeks ago. Had a stinking sore headache and for days and days, and then steadily got better. And then my little boy tested positive Wednesday afternoon, I think, last week. He is asymptomatic, bouncing off the walls, thrilled to bits to be having 10 days off, essentially. And of course we're going into half term next week, so he's getting next week off school anyway. So he's had like a whole week, he'll have a whole week off school, and the 2 days he is now testing negative, but it's Thursday already, so if I put him in on tomorrow, on Friday, he's in for 1 day and then he's off for a week, so we may as well just keep him off until after half term, when he can go back into school. Yep. I'm going to jump into stitching. I'm not going to do a lot of life stuff because I'm just keeping on trucking. I'm working an awful lot. We've got COVID, the chef's got COVID at work, so he's off and I'm filling in there. So this weekend's going to be full on. And then next week I'm in the kitchen almost every day next week as well. So I'm doing a lot of the cooking, but it's fine. I enjoy it and I kind of like it actually. And yeah, so I'm keeping trucking. I'm okay. I'm sorry I've not done a Flosstube. I don't get a lot of time to stitch. I'm quite tired in the evenings. I tend to have been just doing a little bit of stitching and then kind of having a snooze. So yeah. Anyway, I've got a fair bit of stitching to show you. I have worked on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 pieces since I last did a video. And I did do a new start. So I'll show you that in a minute. And a couple of old pieces I've pulled because I fancied something different. You know, when you just suddenly think, right, I really fancy something different, but I don't need to start new starts. I just need to find something that I already have that I want to stitch on. And I've got lots of things that I already have. So I'm going to start with the first one that I'm not sure. I think if I've put in stitches, I've put in like about 50 stitches. So I'm just going to quickly show her to you. This is the Barbara Anna 4 Seasons girl, and she is the winter. And she is there. The light is good today. You can actually see her detail. So I think all I've done is fill in some of the white and possibly a little bit of white up here and fill in some of the white of her dress. I'm stitching this on a piece of, not the fabric that came with the kit, but you can actually see it today. This is a piece of 36 count. It's called Granite. It's a printed fabric from Lakeside Needlecraft. It was one of their exclusives. It's a 36 count Lugana and I really like it. It's got that greeny grey hue to it with a printed kind of stone, and it is the same fabric cut from the same piece that this is on, which I'll show you as well. So I just fancy doing something different, something completely different. So I ratcheted around and I've just dropped a magnet in my bed. I'll find that by and by. Paper pattern. I could put it in Pattern Keeper because it's a PDF, but I'm happy using a paper pattern, and I need to find that magnet. And let me see if I can stick it onto something. Oh well, it'll turn up. It'll stick to something, won't it? Magnets always do. That's what they do. Anyway, it's Dilemma. Now, Dilemma is a framework. I'll just take it out so I can show you where I am with it. It's a frame that you choose which pictures you stitch in the middle. Now, I am stitching mine with a Karen Water Lily called Pomegranate, and this is Pomegranate, and it is very beautiful. Hang on, I can probably find a bigger skein of Pomegranate. Hang on. Here's a full skein of Pomegranate. That is showing beautifully because the light is really good. It goes through oranges into corally colours. There's a very nice sort of earthy brown, a light earthy brown in it, right through to quite a light orange. So Pomegranate, and I'm stitching the entire border. Now with my dilemma, I'm stitching it all 16 pictures, and I have seen one on the Facebook page. Someone has finished dilemma and done what I'm doing, all 16, and it looked really good. So I'm happy to keep going with mine. And this is where I am. So I've not got very far with it, but the pattern should end here. So I'm just adding in bits of pattern that are already in it, but I'm twisting them and turning them to make the frame big enough, and it will fit. I hope it'll fit lengthways. It's a square piece of fabric, so I'm pretty sure it'll fit. There won't be a lot of margin, but I don't stitch with a lot of margin. As you can see, there's already a piece of twill tape on this anyway. I was going to put it on scroll bars, but then I decided not to, and just stick it in my Q-snap like everything else. So this is 36 count, so I'm stitching it with one strand of my Karen Water Lily over 2 threads. So it's very nice little stitches. They're very lovely. And this is the pomegranate, and as you can see, it's very, very pretty. So since I picked it up, I have done most of this piece of border here and most of this piece of border here, and I think I might have done a little bit along here while I was looking for the pattern, but that's where I am. So I could possibly start stitching these 2 here, but I don't know whether I'm going to stitch. I haven't decided, and it doesn't matter if I chop and change my mind. I haven't decided whether I'm going to stitch the entire border and then start the pictures in the middle, or whether I'm going to just do what I fancy. Now for the pictures in the middle, I have got Dinky Dye Mystic Pools. Oh, sorry, that was loud. So it's a very, very pretty purple. I think that's not too bad at all. I've got one there wound onto a bobbin because I was going to start. So I've got a couple of Mystic Pools there, and I'm going to do them. So it's basically going to be 2 colours, a variegated pomegranate and the variegated Mystic Pools. I'm not going to colour the decals inside at all. They're just going to be stitched in 2 colours. In one colour in the middle and one colour for the border. So they're going to be those 2. Where's there? If anything that's showing a little pinker than it is, it's maybe a little bit brighter and a little bit more orange. I just turn my light off for a second. There. That's the colour. That's the colour it actually is in life. I'm going to try and go, because the sun's out again. It's overcast, grey clouds overcast, very windy. You can probably hear the wind whipping through the trees out the back. But that's my colours for that. So I pulled that because I just wanted to stitch on something very different. Woohoo! I have 3 Mystic Pools. Oh, that's good. I'm glad I've got... Oh, I'm just spoiled. Look at this. Ratcheting around in an actual project bag. I have 4 skeins of Mystic Pools. So I've definitely got enough, because I'm only using 1 strand. Crikey, I never buy 4 skeins of anything. I must have been feeling very flush when I bought those. Dinky Dyes. And I've got what in there. The only other thing I've got in there is... Oh, the page of Anzac that I went wrong with. I finished that. That can go. And my little free Mrs. Sadus Rouge that she sent when I bought my hydrangea, and the thread conditioner from Mrs. Sadus that she sent, that she pops in with her order. So that's in my little petite project bag I made for myself. One of the only project bags that I actually use. I think I have 3 that I use. Oh no, I have 4. I have 4 project bags that I actually use, but that's it. Anyway, so that's Dilemma, Long Dog Sampler. It's quite hard to show you it because what I'm doing isn't what the pattern looks like when you buy the pattern. I'm going to do all, as I say, all 16 of the choices. The dilemma was meant to be choose 9 of the 16. And my dilemma was, am I going to fit all 16 on my piece of fabric? And the answer is yes, I am. So that's what I'm doing. So I've shown you those 2. Okay, I have put stitches in, and I bought the new blooming skein of 3839 today, and it's not in my pile. Here is my haul. Some DMC. Literally there's my haul. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 DMC is what I've bought since I last did my Flosstube. That's it. I'm trying to be very, very frugal at the moment. Yeah, everything's gone up in price and it's very hard to make ends meet at the moment. So I'm being very, very frugal. And if I need to buy something like DMC, I'm using my tip money. I'm being very good. I'm using my tip money. So I bought myself some DMC today and a tube of yellow acrylic paint for Lizzie because she's run out of yellow. So that's all I've bought. Done really well. I have had some stitchy gifts, which is absolutely lovely. Here, Snow Wizard. So I was putting in 3839, just doing a bit more here, basically, and bits and bobs here and there. I've put a fair few stitches into this, but this one's fallen by the wayside just for lately. But I have a new skein of 3839 if I can find it. Oh, sorry, I just knocked you. Probably been pinched by Bella already. I will locate it and then I can get on with my 3839 because that's the bulk of the filling in just here that I need to do. And then I can keep on trucking with that because, as we decided, I'm at 70% and I really want to get this one done because I want to start the Snow Castle, which I am not going to start until I have finished Snow Wizard. Okay, so my next thing that I've been working on is the key. This is my Kirsten Mills Hade, which is one of my first and one of my favourites, and I am finishing this. Now I want this on a 4-year schedule, so I'm just about, I restarted this in furlough, so the back end of March 2020 is when I restarted this. So really, if I'm doing it on 4 years, I need it to be at 50% at the end of March. Now, at the beginning of the year, I was at 36.11. At the end of last year, I was at 25, so I was bang on schedule. And then last year, I stitched on all sorts of other things. I worked an awful lot. I didn't get to stitch like I did in 2020. Obviously, we all stitched a lot in 2020 just because of circumstance, those of us who do stitch all the time. So 2021 happened and I didn't get anywhere near the amount of stitching done as I would have liked to have done. But, you know, I've picked it up and I've worked out to get to 75% by early March 2023. I need to do 200 stitches a day. And since then, I've put in 15, 20, about 3,000 stitches. And that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days ago. So look, here's my little counter. I'm keeping track. So I was at 36.11% at the start of 2022. And today, I haven't done any stitching on it yet today, but as of yesterday night, I'm at 37.94. So I'll be at 38% today when I've done at least 200 stitches. Yesterday I did 228. 3 days ago I did 750 stitches. This is extremely easy for me to stitch on. Because I absolutely love it. There's a lot of stitches of the same colours because I'm mostly down to brickwork now. There's green at the top and grey at the bottom, and I'm just going to get going with it. So I've been working on this bit here, so I can show you very clearly where I've been working. Okay, so when I picked it up, I put in quite a lot of stitches here. The first maybe 1,500 stitches went in this side of here, and then I picked up some browns, and I've been filling in this bit of the key and filling in this bit of the key. So the last about 2,000 stitches I've put in have been here. And I've got some gaps, and would you believe it, the colours I need are not in any one of the 5 boxes of DMC I can clearly see right here on my bed. So I replaced my 823 because I've pretty much used up my 823 and I'm dipping in, which I shouldn't really do. And I've bought myself the colours that I definitely need to finish off the browns, and I got myself another 318. Now I know I've got 318 and I know I've got 647, but I'm using so much of it, you know. Because I'm doing it over 2 on 14 count, so a length that long, it doesn't do that many stitches. It only does like 40 stitches, so I'm using a lot of floss. So I thought, right then, rather than faff on and use up, I'm just going to get myself some skeins. I'm going to keep these as skeins and I'm just going to use them. So I've bought myself 5 today, 5 there, and 823 because there's still like about 12,000 stitches of 823 to go into this. So I figured, right, the sun's gone in, so I'm gonna put my light back on. Ugh. So that's where I am, and that's where I'm working, and I'm trying to do 200 stitches a day. But obviously if I miss a day here or there, some days I put in a lot more than 200. I just keep going until I fancy changing. It's very good for tired eyes because it's 14 count. This is how I store it. This is how I treat my Hades, guys. It's fine. Nothing bad will happen. So because it's on 14 count and it's a full size Hade, it's enormous. So there's the top corner, which I have completely filled in, that one tiny top corner. But because I've colour completed the black, for anyone who is new and hasn't seen me show this over and over again, and then there's bits and bobs that I've completely done, like that leaf there is complete, and there's a very few gaps there. The moth there is complete, and the dragon only has a few tiny little gaps. So there's my little dragon, and then his little tail curls around this key, and the key is on a brick wall, and that's the bottom corner there. So all in all, it's in portrait, so it's that way up, and it is just about 1 metre long and about, what's that, 70, 80 centimetres wide. Good, decent 2 foot by 3 foot probably. But it's 14 count, and look, this is 14 count, 2 strands on 14 count. You can stitch a Hade on anything you want. Whatever you prefer is how to stitch a Hade, because you're going to be stitching on that Hade for a very long time. You've got to love the fabric choice you make. Now to that end, I have a new start, and it is 25 count, and I have done, I think I found the magnets. There we go. There's the magnet I dropped. I'm going to stick that back on Dilemma because that holds my pattern down. That's a failed needle minder magnet because you can see it's 2. So I've put super glue on them, and then they've gone, because I had them too close together when I was going to be gluing on a stamp probably, and they've clipped together, and I've got, no, they're not. I'm talking nonsense. Ignore me. I'm not editing this, so you're going to get what you get. That's 2. I'm going to stick that up there then because that's 2. Anyway, normally I've got these piles of 2 that are the magnets I tend to use for me tend to be the ones that I've glued together and ruined. Anyway, that was pointless minute of talking, wasn't it? So I started my quick stitch in time winter, which is the one that I'm using both the fabric and the floss that I've been kindly sent. And I bought myself a little box, and that's all my colours. That's every colour I need for this piece. And I have been dipping in. I've already used quite a lot of the 823, hence why I've replaced myself an 823 today. I've had to dip in a little bit. But there's my colours. I'm keeping them all nice and all together. This is the only set of threads that are not going to end up in my master set. I'm keeping these separate. And I'm doing it on a 25 count. It's like a blush pink. Let me turn my light out. It's blush pink Lugana. And I have fully gridded it, but I've seen someone else's gridding, and other people's gridding's very much neater. I literally just did a long running stitch with this weird filament stuff, which is down here. This stuff, this Gutermann filament, because it pulls out. You can pull it out when you've you can pull it. It pulls out neatly from stitching, so it and your needle won't pierce it. Your needle sort of slides around it, so it doesn't. So you can just pull it out when you've done. I didn't want to grid it with a pen. For some reason, it felt like it needed to be gridded with thing. So what I've done very poor gridding. There's another magnet. Okay, I'm clearly collecting magnets right now. Magnets on everything. And it's got some 820 threaded on. Like I can see it's 820 a mile away. Those of us who do a lot of Randall Spanglers, you know 820. And it hits you up and You know it exactly. Anyway, so because it's a quick stitch, it is still 300 by 175, I think. So you can see there's my corner, there's my corner, there's my start. It's looking really good. I think that's about 2.5% of it. And then it goes down to, you can see where the last of the horizontal lines are there. That's how big my piece is. So I did fully grid it, and that just makes it easier for me to count. And then the pink, that's 0, 50, 100 are the pink lines, just so I can, if I want to start over here, I can easily find where I am. And then the turquoise lines are all the 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, and then pink. So my gridding is a bit poo, but I can see my lines, and that's easy enough for me. Having seen somebody else's gridding, they sort of went underneath at where the two lines intersect, they go under and then go over for maybe 8 stitches, and then under for 2, and then over for 8, and it was beautiful gridding. Mine, not so much. Mine's just a load of running stitches. You can see they're all different lengths. I tried to get longer stitches on top than the behind has got, like the shortest. You can see the behind's much harder to see the grid. There is the back. You can see how I carry. I don't care. But this is 25 count, so my little stitches are tinky, squinky little 25. Now I like 25. Ooh, my light just went funny then. It's probably gonna power off, isn't it? And we'll do the last bit in the dark. I like 25 count. I love the fact that everything merges and it makes a beautiful picture. But I find it I have to really concentrate on it. That's the only issue. When I'm tired, when I get home from work and I'm tired and my eyes are tired, I do find it hard to concentrate on 25 count. Hence the 14 count, absolutely brilliant. The monochrome pieces, absolutely brilliant. This is for when I'm a little bit more awake, but I started off with great guns there. I'm really happy with my start. And this one is there with its threads, and I can pick it up, and I know I've got every colour I need. I know I'm not going to get to a bit and go, oh, I can't find it in the box, and I'm searching through my boxes. I don't have to do that. It's fine. Anyway, so the last piece, I just picked this up the other night. I just fancied something completely different. So I ratcheted around and I found Live Gently Upon This Earth. It's an Emma Congdon from her newer book, and I pulled it out, and you can see there is the end of page. So that is the end of the first, that's half of it. And you can see how full coverage it is. The only fabric showing through is the white here behind this, and the Gently is also just plain. Everything else is full coverage. Now the bottom half, the Upon This Earth, is almost completely full coverage. The only bit that isn't full coverage is, oh crikey, I'm going to flash this out, you guys. Look, it's pretty much full. So that's quite a lot of stitching. And of course I went to stitch it and I was like, right, okay, I need to fill in this bit here. Could I find my 905? I found 904, 906, about 12 skeins of 907. How I've got so much 907, I don't know. Could I find 905? No, I couldn't. I know I have it. I have used it. It's here. It's here. It's here. It's there. It's there. Could I find my 907? No, it's been lost to the wind somewhere. So I've also picked myself up a new 907. Isn't that the most glorious green? It's like pea green. I love it. Anyway, I have one of these. By the time I pick this back up and put it in my Q-snap, I will probably have lost this. That's the way my life goes. So I've picked up lots of different things to do lots of different stitching. I'm really happy with what I'm getting on with. I do have an urgy need to get on with my Halloween at Hawkrun Hollow, so that will be pulling out soon. Still absolutely no sign of a whip parade, guys. I think I've completely malfunctioned with that. I do have whips everywhere. I have got so much I need to get done and so little time to do it in that I'm not entirely sure. I will do a whip parade at some point, but it won't be the traditional. Obviously I'm now a month and a half late on end of year whip parade, so it's going to be whenever it turns up, and when it does I'll go back and we'll count up my whips and I'll give a prize away to whoever was nearest. But honestly guys, I'm hopeless. we know I'm hopeless. Everybody knows I'm hopeless. I'm really sorry I've not done a video, but I've really not had a lot of time. And then the days off I've had, I've just wanted to just mooch about, or, you know, I've needed to do something specific, so I've gone and done something specific, and I've just not got around to doing a video. I am really enjoying my stitching. You know, it gives me the brain free. It just kind of just pulls out my day, screws it up in a little ball, and puts it over there, not to be thought about, and I can just stitch. So that's what I'm doing. I'm thoroughly enjoying my stitching, absolutely fine, and I'm just getting on. So that's me at the moment. I'm going to keep this fairly short and sweet. I don't even think, you know, I'm going to insert any pictures in this because I don't have befores and afters because I've not done that. And I think I'm just going to roll this straight up into YouTube and get this straight up. So you won't even have the little bit of text at the bottom. So I'm just going to say thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry it's been so long, and hopefully I'll put a video up before 2 weeks passes. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching me. I'll see you soon. I really will see you soon, I promise. Bye bye for now.